Okay, I have returned for a very, very late thing. I should probably zoom this out a little bit more. Yeah, 100% is fine. Okay, so yeah, the algorithm's gonna not be fun for me. But anyways, I am back giving you my little hot take on the recent Unreal Arcana that came out like a month ago. Because yeah, that's what I'm doing. Um, so I'm not gonna go through every single change. I'm just gonna give the general laydown of things. And the important things like the design notes, and if it's like a new ability, I'll talk about it and stuff like that. But overall, I'm not really gonna dive deep into everything the class has or has been changed with or whatever. Just the general stuff that has been changed. So, Bardic Inspiration for Bard, which is the first class in playtest 6, the biggest playtest after the second biggest. That was the biggest until this one. So it's basically gone back to the way it was, uh, but it lasts longer. It's whatever. And again, not much has changed on the table. But what is interesting about the Bard is the fact that uh, where is it? Oh, right here it is. They can now choose what spell list they want to use, which is scary to me personally because this may end up becoming a why play any other class when you could just play a bard scenario. I don't see that happening for a while, but it's still, if like you're a power gamer, I can see that happening. Anyways, uh yeah, that's just kind of my I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not. Because one, it you basically have to account for the fact that bards are going to use spells from every spell list, which makes it annoying to balance spells because I don't know if bards could truly abuse it, but it's still a there's always going to be that one guy who plays a bard because of this ability right here, and because he can choose any spell list he wants at first level, and basically just play a essentially almost better version of that class, unless you're a druid and playing a wild shape mainly thing. But anyways, I do like the fact that they can choose divine though, because it makes them more sporty. Arcane, they're basically just gonna be wizards, but not, which is weird. And then primal, I don't even know why a bard would choose primal. I honestly don't. But anyways, yeah, Jack of all trades is now back to second level. Font of Inspiration is a new thing, which a lot of the classes have gotten something like this for their secondary resource other than spell slots, which is nice. Counter Charm now is just better. Magical Secrets. Uh, we'll get to that in a little bit. And Word of Creation is now their 20th level ability because uh, they wanted to continue to do epic boons, but everyone wanted 20th level abilities to stay there because that's the magnum opus of the class, and like paladin, that's the magnum opus of your paladin essentially. And yeah, which happy to see 20th level features come back and replace epic boons. Anyways, they have light armor training now. I don't know if they had it before. I don't think they did. I don't remember. I haven't really played bards or played with bards, honestly. Uh, Bark Inspiration, essentially the same thing. Spellcasting, nothing's really changed other than the fact that you can choose your list you want to get from. Expertise, you know, that's its expertise, wonderful. And then Jack of all trades, adding half your proficiency bonus rounded down to any ability check you make that you aren't proficient in. Yeah, fun times. Then Bard subclasses, of course, and then Font of Inspiration. This is the new thing, which I like. So, um, basically every spellcaster in this UA seems to have something like this. Uh, so when you finish your short rest, you can, if you have no Bard Inspiration left, you can instead expend a spell slot and give yourself one, which is really interesting. So if you're like really struggling in combats and stuff, or not struggling per se, but not having the ability to take a long rest, which can really hurt spellcasters, you have the ability to create Bardic Inspiration for the cost of a spell slot. I don't know how useful this is going to be for the Bard, but I know the Druid version is arguably just better. So I feel like the Bard actually got the short end of the stick on this one, but yeah, it's still a quality of life thing. It gives them something to do if they need Bardic Inspiration or think they need it. Because, I mean, like, arguably at higher levels, your first level spell slots aren't as useful, but they can still come in handy, and, you could always just pump one in to give yourself Bardic Inspiration. So, yeah, keep on right-clicking for some reason. Counter Charm gives the roller advantage. That's awesome. That's way better than um, the original one. I basically just made them re-roll, and if the bard, I believe actually if the bard also went unconscious, the effect would persist essentially. So the person who was frightened or charmed would still be frightened or charmed if the bard fell unconscious, which is funny. I don't know if that's actually true, because again, I haven't played bards. I haven't looked through them a whole lot because I don't like the flavor of them, honestly, or at least in a D&D context. But no, it gives advantage to the roller, and they roll again. Phenomenal. Just a really strong ability that can come in clutch, which I do like. Then magical secrets. This. Um, I don't know how to feel about it. So, yeah, this is. Wait, do they not choose the spell list at 10 or first level? No, they do choose the spell list. Wait, do they get another one? No. Oh no, they just get all of them. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that at all. Because I thought they just got a couple of spells from it. No, I did not read through it properly. They just get all the spell lists. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not particularly fond of that. That's actually very scary and very annoying as a DM. You know the situation they're trying to avoid with druids and wild shape and stuff like that? They just created this fucking paradox with bards. Because even though, like, a DM shouldn't have to know a character's exact spell list, he or she, or they, whatever they are, they should still know relatively what they're capable of. This just throws bards out the fucking window at 10th level, like, because they can do anything at that point. Yeah, so that's fun. Uh, then there's this Superior Inspiration. You regain 2 expended uses of Bardic Inspiration when you roll initiative, and you don't have any. Phenomenal. Pretty cool. And then, of course, Words of Creation. You have mastered 2 primal words, or prime words, my bad, of creation. These words of life and death. You know Power Word Heal and Power Word Kill. They're always prepared for you, and you cast either. Can target a second creature within 10 feet of its first target. Hilarious. I like it. It's flavorful towards Bard, and it makes sense. I have nothing against this. It's funny. I like it. um, Now we're getting into the subclasses, which I'll touch on this right now. I'm kind of scared for the future because it seems like they're making a lot of effort to give some fullcasters the ability to also be a spell sword, essentially, with like melee and stuff like that. Which I'll finish that up once we finish up with the cleric and the changes they went through with that. But anyways, College of Dance. You get an unarmored defense. It's your dex plus your charisma, with a base of 10. Cool. It's actually pretty decent because, have a max charisma, have a dex of at least 2. Then, you have an AC of 17. That's actually pretty high for a full caster. Then Agile Strikes. So you can use your Bardic Inspiration as a part of an action, a bonus action or a reaction. You can make one unarmed strike as part of it. This is weird because it's like you basically want to be a monk, I think, but you're a bard, which is weird. And I don't know how I feel about it. And of course, you can use your dex instead of your strength for attack rolls with unarmed strikes, and when you deal damage, as well as the damage is equal to the roll of your Bardic Inspiration die plus your dexterity. So you're basically just a monk, is what the subclass of or the college dance is. You're basically just a monk, which is fucking hilarious to me. But also like rip a monk, I suppose, and then inspiring movement when an enemy you can see ends its turn within 5 feet of an ally who's within 60 feet of you. You can use your reaction, expend some Bardic Inspiration, move up to half your speed, then roll your Bardic Inspiration die, and the ally can move a number of feet equal to 5 times the number rolled. And it doesn't. None of this procs opportunity of attacks. This is kind of a powerful ability, just kind of. Um, it's definitely interesting. I don't know how useful it's going to be at level 3, but like, it's a thing. Then, more monk shit, essentially. When you're subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dex saving throw, you instead only take half damage if you succeed, and you take half damage if you fail. Any creature within 5 feet of you making the same throw, you can share this benefit with them for that save. Actually, that's more rogue shit than monk shit, because I don't believe monks have something like that. They should, if they don't. Um, yeah, there's that, and then there's tandem footwork. When you roll initiative, you can spend Bardic Inspiration dies. If you don't have the incapacitated condition, and when you do so, you roll. and choose a number of creatures, including yourself, up to the number of your charisma modifier, and they gain a bonus to the initiative equal to your roll. That could be very good. Always having a higher, initiative is fantastic. And then you always know, or at 14th level, Irresistible Dance, you always know Autos is Irresistible Dance. It's always prepared. You can cast it without expending a spell slot. And, of course, you gain it on a long rest. But you can also restore the use of it by expending Bark Inspiration. Which is very interesting. So you basically have a CC spell that, as long as you have Bardic Inspiration die, you can use without using a spell slot. It's very interesting. But yeah, no, this is basically wants Monk to be a frontlining spellcaster, from what I get from it. And I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I really don't, because it really feels like you can just be a better monk if you really wanted to. But anyways, College of Glamour. In the College of Glamour, I'm just going to go through these because we've seen it before. It's in Xanathar's guide as well, so. It now grants temporary hit points determined by a roll of Bardic Inspiration. It was originally, Beguiling Magic was originally Enthralling Performance, but now it's enhances enchantments and illusion spells, which we'll actually go over that one. Mantle of Majesty now gives you the command spell, and you can restore it using a spell slot 3rd level or higher. Pretty fun. And then Unbreakable Majesty now triggers on a creature hitting you and can negate the hit, which we will quickly go down to Mantle. That was the one, right? Oh no. Oh, it's literally right here. Yep, you always have Charm Person and Mirror Image prepared. In addition, you can immediately after you cast an enchantment or illusion spell, you can cause a creature you can see within 60 feet make a Wisdom save. If on a fail, the target is charmed or frightened of you, you get to choose for a minute. It can repeat saving throw at the end of their turns, and you can only use this once at the end of a long rest. Or once until you finish a long rest. You can also restore this feature by expending Bardic Inspiration, or a die. Really cool, honestly. I like it. The fact that you can choose to charm or frighten a creature when you cast an enchantment or illusion spell. It's very fun, very fitting, I feel. Then Mantle of Majesty. You always have command prepared. It's as a bonus action. You can cast command without expending a spell slot, and take on an unearthly appearance for a minute or until your concentration ends. During this, you can cast command as a bonus action without expending a spell slot. Any creature charmed by you automatically fails its saving throw against command. Ooh, synergy. Anyways, once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest or expend a spell slot of 3rd level or higher. Fun. Interesting. Yeah, it's just enchantment shit. That's what Glamour does. And then Glamour... Oh yeah, it can just negate the hit now, which nothing else really needs to be said about that. Now, this College of Lore. Is not the one I'm thinking of. Anyways, this one, it can allow any skill to be chosen from its bonus proficiency, which you get 3 of your choice, which is amazing. Cutting words, you can reduce damage prevented. The damage reductive was absent in the previous bar playtest because it is Now removed healing option in Bard Conspiration. Makes sense. Formerly called Additional Magical Secret, has returned and it now allows you to place one of your chosen spells each time you gain a Bard level. Which is Magical Discoveries, which is you learn 2 spells of your choice. These spells come from the Arcane, Divine, Primal, or Spell list. And any combination of therefore, a spell you choose must be a cantrip or spell. You have a spell slots, and shown on the Bard table. You always have the chosen spells prepared, and whenever you gain a Bard level, you can replace one of them with another spell that meets the requirements above. So basically, you get 2 spells, or cantrips, that you can replace each time you level up with any spell. You basically get Magical Secrets before. This is Magical Secrets Light, essentially, is what it is. And then Peerless Skill, and now benefits both ability and attack rolls, not just ability checks. Yeah, makes sense. Again, Spell Sword stuff. Nothing's really changed other than, they have combat inspiration now. I believe that's a new thing. Was it a new thing? No, maybe it wasn't. Maybe they've always had this. I don't know. You can use your wit to turn the tide of battle. A creature that has Bard Conspiration die from you, you can use it for one of the following. Defense, a creature hit by an attack roll can use its reaction to add the number to its AC against the attack, potentially causing it to miss. Offense, immediately after the creature hits the target from the attack roll, the creature can use the Bard Conspiration die and add that to the attack's damage against the target. Also, they get armor training and medium armor and shields, as well as they can use simple or martial weapons as spellcasting focuses. Cool. Very cool. And then battle magic, after you spell, they get essentially the Eldritch Knight 7th level ability. You cast a spell for an action, you could bonus action attack. Yeah. They just upgraded it a little bit with martial training, essentially. Which is fine, I suppose. It's just kind of weird. The fact that Bard now technically has 3, because there's Swords, Valor, and now Dance, for basically being that upfronty fighting Bard. Which is very odd. Because that is... Because other than Cleric and Druid, because hell, even Druid doesn't have as many like subclasses that want them to be like up front in the front lines, other than like Moon really, or Spores maybe. Which is really weird that Bard now has 3. I don't know. That's just my opinion though. Now Cleric. Yeah, it's essentially been reverted for the most part. They changed, the Holy Order back to 1st level. Oh yeah, spell prep is no longer tied to the level of your spell slots, which is nice. Channel Divinity has become a back to 2nd level. Its use is now increased with level based on your proficiency bonus. In addition, you regain them whenever you finish a short rest. The healing and damage of Divine Spark has also changed, and Turn Undead now uses the incapacitated and frightened conditions. Finally, the multi-classing sidebar has a new rule for Channel Divinity, which we will talk about those in a slight moment. Of course. The clerics get their thing or subclass at level 3 instead of level 1. But other than that, follows the same pattern. Smite Undead now uses your proficiency bonus, or no, uses your wisdom instead of your proficiency bonus, and that damage does not end the turn undead effect. Makes sense. And Blessed Strikes, you now have an additional choice, or now lets you choose Potent Spellcasting or Divine Strike. Commune, basically the Warlock, or the Cleric variant of talking to your patron, essentially, your god. Person who gives you your power. Improved Blessed Strikes. That's a completely new thing. Very, very interesting thing. Divine Intervention and Greater Intervention are now redesigned, probably for the better, and Greater Divine Intervention is the 20th level ability. So anyways, Channel Divinity. If you have one or more classes with Channel Divinity feature, a class's use can be expended only on that class's Channel Divinity options. Okay, so that's weird. I don't know why they'd have it like that, but neat, I guess. Is this table? Yes, the table does show you how many Channel Divinities you get. Okay, I mean, that's weird. So if you were multi-classing like Paladin, I guess you'd have 2 uses of Cleric Channel Divinity and like 1 of a Paladin. That's fine, I guess. I would have liked it to not be like that, but whatever. Now, Divine Order. Yep, you get either Protector or Thaumaturgy, which is basically... Yeah. Wait, this has a lot more than just an extra cantrip. Anyways, Protector, you gain martial weapon proficiency and heavy armor training. Thaumaturgy, you get 1 extra cantrip from the Divine Spell list. In addition, you gain a bonus to your religion checks equal to your wisdom modifier, which is really cool because now it makes sense why clerics would know so much about gods and religions instead of just praying to God that they roll high on the religion check for their own god, which I like. But they only get to choose 1, which I guess if you're playing, a more upfront lining cleric, you don't really care about learning about God, you just want to hit shit for God, so, makes sense. Then spellcasting, it's essentially prepping spells now is a thing for them, which is pretty neat. They brought that back and it's no longer connected to spell level, which is fun. Their Channel Divinity, everything. Explaining all of it, it's still the same. Divine Spark, Magic Action, point your holy symbol to a creature. You roll 1d8 and add your wisdom, and you restore hit points, or force the creature to make a con save. On a fail, they take necrotic or radiant, your choice, to the total, and on a successful, if you're trying to harm them, they take half. And this damage or heal increases at later levels, and then you have Turn Undead. Same thing, except it's a wisdom save against an undead. Holy shit, there are like 5 flies in my room. Because I killed one earlier today, but there's another one on my wall. Are you... No? Okay. Bye, fly. I'll kill you later. Okay. Where was I? Right. Each undead within 30 feet of you makes a wisdom save, same old, same old. Ends early if, they take any damage, or you die, or are incapacitated. Nothing new there. Of course, third level, they get their subclass. Smite Undead, which is a cleric's 5th level ability that they get. So you can cause the you turn undead becomes basically smite the undying. Uh, did I just English? No, I didn't. I didn't think I did. Anyways, it harms undead. You roll a number of d8s to your wisdom modifier, and add the rolls together, and each undead that fails it takes radiant damage equal to the roll's total. So this deals basically a maximum of 5d8 to each undead that fails. So destroy undead, no longer a thing, but now you have this, which is arguably better, honestly, for dealing with undead. Because it will end up negating a lot of the zombies' undead fortitude stuff, and it actually affects, higher level undead than like CR2, which I think is what Destroy Undead went up to. Now, granted, it was awesome, just instantly killing undead, but with a lucky roll and them failing, they'll die anyways, so. Yeah. Yeah. Then Blessed Strikes, which you get to choose between the Divine Strike, which gives you extra d8 on your attack rolls, or not your attack rolls, your damage rolls for weapons and stuff, or you add your Wisdom modifier to the Divine Cantrips. It's pretty neat. It's fun. Yeah. Then, Commune. You just have Commune prepared, essentially. Talk to God whenever you want to. Now, Divine Intervention. You call on your deity or pantheon to intervene on your behalf. You choose any divine spell of 5th level or lower that doesn't require a reaction to cast. As part of the same action, you cast that spell without expending a spell slot or needing material components. You can only use this once per long rest. So they changed Divine Intervention, probably for the best. Because it was kind of strong and very like a roll of the dice and DM dependent on what was going to happen with what the player asked. This is a lot more manageable and, just a lot less of a headache and like a cop out essentially. Or at least that I feel that way. 14th level, you get your improved Divine Strike, which now is 2d8, or whenever you cast a Divine spell, you can give Vitality to yourself or another creature within 60 feet of yourself, gaining temporary hit points equal to twice your Wisdom modifier. Very powerful. See, this one and the Druid one are actually kind of scary, because this one can basically make the cleric, or whoever the cleric's putting the temp HP on, very tanky. Because they're basically healing them for 10 hit points each turn, and if they use, like Healing Word, then, that could be like, what? Like, what's 2 plus 5? 7. So the cleric can essentially be healing a person for 17 hit points each turn. And that's just a first level spell slot with Healing Word. And so it can kind of this can really like stack up and make someone really hard to kill, which is very scary. It's very scary. Does it need to be twice the wisdom modifier? I think it shouldn't be twice. I think it should be only the wisdom modifier, because like 10 temporary hit points just because you cast a cantrip, and this has no hard limit on it, as well as the range is really large. It's kind of like ish. I mean, granted, you have to deal damage to a creature with it. So there's a chance it's not gonna proc all the time, especially if you're using like Sacred Flame or something like that, but still, if this goes off, it goes off. Um, so yeah, that's my take on that. And then there's the Greater Divine Intervention, which basically you can choose Wish when you select a spell, and you have to finish a couple of long rests before you use Divine Intervention again, which is completely valid, and this is what Divine Intervention should be, in my opinion. And now, because Cleric gets so many fucking subclasses, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go through the design notes because, you know, um, as a general thing, all subclasses gain an additional spell for their first level, or for their, I was gonna say first level, but they get their levels at third, or subclass at third, so. Anyways, they get an additional spell when they get their subclass. Or they get 3 spells instead of the usual 2. Discipline of Life now is clear that its extra hit points are based on the spell slot. Uh, Preservation of Life has been redesigned. Damn it, we have to actually read that. Where is Preservation of Life? It's not. Oh, and then, of course, Blessed Healer is now more. I'm having a stroke. Anyways, Divine Strike has been replaced with Blessed Strikes in the class base. Blessed Healer, yeah. And then Supreme Healing now applies to Channel Divinity as well to spells. Here it is. As a part of casting a prepared abjuration spell from the Divine Spell list, you can expend a use of Channel Divinity to create a spell slot to use for the casting. You must expend a number of Channel Divinity uses equal to the spell's level. So Shield of Faith would cost 1 Channel Divinity use. This isn't a bad thing. It's neat. It's a thing to use Channel Divinity with. Blessed Healer is now more clear. Now 17th level, you can use your Channel Divinity to basically max heal people, which actually, did they? Yes, they did. Because Life Domain, I remember, used to have something to where they basically could heal people for a bunch of HP, but only to like their hit point, half their hit point maximum. Now they're basically just like a small little trickling boost here and there. Okay, cool. That's neat. The Light Domain no longer gets a bonus cantrip. There are now a lot more spells that are more relevant to the Light Domain. Warding Flame can now be used on allies and themselves. Revealing Light is a new thing. Potent spell casting, of course, has been replaced. And Cornea of Light is... that's not how you say that, but I don't care. Now also benefits Radiance of the Dawn and no longer requires an action to deactivate it early. Awesome. Anyways, so... I'm not going to go over all this. I'm just going to go over the new ability, which is, as a bonus action, you can present your holy symbol and cast See Invisibility without expending a spell slot. When you do, allies also gain the benefit within 10 feet of you. Till the spell ends, you emit bright light into a 10-foot radius and dim light to additional 10. You can end this as early as a bonus action, and you cannot do this again until you finish a long rest. So you can just, once per day, expend a spell slot and see invisibility. And allies within 10 feet of you can see as well, invisible things. It's neat, it can come in handy, but most of the time you're not really dealing with invisible things. But if you are, it's going to be a plot twist of some sort, but you know what? I like it. It's neat. Because seeing invisibility isn't really a very useful thing in a lot of cases, so yeah. Anyways, the trickery domain. Blessing of the Trickster can now be put on someone up to 30 feet away, and clerics can use it on themselves. Invoke duplicity no longer requires concentration. And it requires a bonus action now. And you can teleport when you first use it, which is fucking fly. It just flew in my face. No, you can now invoke duplicity. This is a great quality of life change to it. It's phenomenal. Yeah, that's all I have to say that. And of course, Divine Strike has been replaced. And improved duplicity was poorly rated and now has entirely new functionality. Okay, we have to actually look at that. And of course, I believe they got invisibility as a new spell. As well as, I want to say, Charm Person. Or is it Pass Without a Trace? It's probably Pass Without a Trace and Invisibility that are the new domain spells at 3rd level. Because Dimension Door and Confusion sound about right, and Hold Monster and Mislead? Ooh. Do those change, or were those always Trickery Domain? I don't know. Anyways. Yep, a creature within 30 feet of yourself. Improved duplicity has grown more powerful. When you create it, you can teleport up to 120 feet rather than 30. And when you move it, you can move up to 60 feet rather than 30. In addition, when you and your allies make attack roll against creatures within 5 feet of the illusion, the attacks have advantage. Finally, when the illusion ends, you or a creature of your choice within 5 feet of it regains hit points equal to your cleric level. That's pretty nice. That is pretty nice. So, I can definitely see this being very useful. Giving people advantage on attack rolls is always good. Healing people is even great, especially when the ability finally runs its course. You don't really see many things have upsides to ending. Yeah. Because it's just when it ends, so you can end it early just to heal someone for 17 to 20 hit points, which is nice. Then the ward domain. Proficiencies has been, put in the base class domain spells, now Destructive Wave instead of Flame Strike, which honestly makes sense for someone who of the war domain. War Priest now lets you use Weapon Mastery of a weapon in addition to bonus attack recharges on a short rest instead of just a long rest. And it doesn't need to be paired with the attack action anymore. That's actually really good for them, so they can bonus action attack instead of just... So they can Guiding Bolt something, run up, and then hit it. That's fun. That's fun, that's neat. Guided Strikes now lets you benefit yourself and other creatures, and triggered by missing, ensuring it has a greater chance of causing the attack to hit. So, Guided Strike now triggers when it now officially misses. That is a great quality of life. No more arguing the DM on whether or not that, hearing whether or not a missed or didn't hit in the first place. The War God's Blessing has been redesigned to allow the cleric to protect allies. Former functionality has been incorporated into Guiding Strike, or Guided Strike, my bad. course, Divine Strike, space class thing. An Avatar battle now provides resistance to all bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, not just non-magical versions. That is phenomenal quality of life changes for War Domain. Now, Druid. Druid's interesting. Channel Nature has been cut in favor of restoring Wild Shape at 2nd level. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I liked Channel Nature. I liked the idea of it, I really did. In being able to use your Wild Shape for other things other than just Wild Shape, I really liked that. But, oh well. That's just me, though. That's just me. Druidic, you always have to speak with animals. Makes sense. Primal Order is the 1st level new feature, which is, we'll get to that in a little bit. Wild Shape has returned 2nd, and basically, you now prepare what animals you have. Spell prep, it's no longer tied to the level of spell slots. Wild Resurgence has moved from 15th to 5th, and has been redesigned. Elemental Fury is a new 7th level thing, which we'll get to. Communion with Nature, new thing. Improved Elemental Fury, new thing. Archdruid is now 20 level ability. So then, Primal Order. You basically get the same thing that the Cleric does, and that you get to choose whether or not you want to be spellcasty or you want to be upfront. Which Magician, of course, you get another cantrip, and you gain a bonus to your nature checks equal to your wisdom modifier. Amazing. Druids no longer have to be, super confuzzled about, what mushrooms are when they roll low on an intelligence check for nature. Because, let's be honest, most people are dumping intelligence with druids. Then Warden. You're trained for battle, you gain medium armor training and martial weapon proficiency. Cool. Again, kind of weird in my opinion, but cool. We'll get to why I'm so off-put by this. Spell slots, same old, same old. Wild Companion. You summon a nature spirit. This was basically in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You expend a wild shape, summon something. Now, wild shape, as a bonus action, you transform into a beast, blah blah blah. A form of number of hours equal to that, blah blah blah. But 3 forms with this feature among beast stats that have a maximum challenge rating of a 4th or lower, and that lack of flying speed rather than choosing. You may start with a riding horse, spider, and wolf. Whenever you finish a long rest, you replace one of them with another eligible form. So, this is as good as they were going to get without attempting to redo what they did last time in the Underoath Arcana, which basically is like, say, hey, you have this versatility, but basically every form is going to be the same, except because here's the thing, your AC was better, your attacks were better, it's just you didn't have the flavor of, the wolf knocking people prone, you didn't have the flavor of the spider dealing poison damage and walking on walls. You didn't have stuff like that with the previous one. I definitely would like to see them try and bring it back, but, you do what you can, honestly, and this is probably the best thing to prevent the paradox of, making, druid players look through every single book that has stat blocks in it for beasts and basically choose the best form or the strongest one. So now they can only choose the 3 strongest ones, which, whatever. It's a thing. Of course, everything's relatively the same, except for the fact that you retain your hit points. You no longer have temporary hit points with this, so you're not nearly as tanky as you were, which is a much needed change because, oh my god, druids, just using an action to give themselves like 30 hit points is kind of absurd in some cases. It could really, really be annoying to deal with. But anyways, yeah, you basically same old, same old. Um, yeah, nothing really else has changed from it. Um, Now Wild Resurgence fly is the thing that is kind of the what the bard and cleric have gotten at 5th level, being recharging their things. So if you have no wild shape, you can give yourself one by expending a spell slot. Um, in addition, you can expend a use of wild shape to give yourself a 1st level spell slot. You can't do this until you finish a long rest. So it's a really cool concept and idea of using your wild shape to give yourself spells or vice versa. Um, Again, I would have liked to see something else use wild shape charges, but I'm, uh, whatever. It's whatever. Elemental Fury, you basically get the more potent version of stuff. You get potent spellcasting, which you add your Wisdom modifier to your Primal Cantrips, or you get Primal Strike, which is dealing an extra d8 of cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage. When you hit something with an attack roll, or not attack roll, with a weapon or one of your beast forms attacks. Very nice. It's very nice. Fly. This fly is very annoying. Commune with nature. You always know commune with nature. Uh, yep, and then the improved elemental fury. Basically, see, this is kind of scary to me. Because if a spell has a range of 10 feet or greater, the spell's range increases to 300 feet. I don't know why it's so large. I think it's funny that you can thorn whip people off of like high ground and stuff and just yank them down like Scorpion or something like that. I find it funny. I don't know how useful it's gonna be. It's funny though, so I'm kind of into it. And then Primal Strike, you get 2d8 instead of 1. Whatever. And then Beast spells, while you're in Wild Shape, you can cast spells without material, or that doesn't use material components or consumes material components. Neat. And then Arch Druid, you gain quite a bit of things whenever you roll initiative and you have no uses of Wild Shape. You regain 1 expended use. You can convert Wild Shape uses, which is okay. Sorry for that. My roommate walked in and he's very loud. I don't remember where I was at. Oh right. Arch Druid. You can convert uses of Wild Shape into a number of unexpended uses. Convert them into a single spell slot. Contributing 2 spell levels. You must finish a long rest before you can do this again. So, for example, you can convert 2 uses of Wild Shape to produce a 4th level spell slot. Really fucking cool. I really liked that. And of course, you can always, convert spell slots into wild shapes, as previously done in the Wild Resurgence ability. And then of course longevity. You age a lot slower. Overall, the base class is pretty neat, pretty nifty. I'm trying to remember at this point because we still have subclasses. Then monk. This is when it ends essentially. So monk and then we get paladin. Yeah. Okay. Oop. So, before we go any further down, I quickly want to throw in my 2 cents into these primal order and um, these order things, right? I like the idea of being able to choose whether or not you want to be a more frontliney, tanky person, right? Or be a spellcasty kind of character. What I don't like about them, though, is the fact that even though the base classes, you know, barbarian, cleric, druid, bard, paladin, monk, ranger, rogue, warlock, wizard, sorcerer, even though these classes, they're all fine and dandy. They're good for what they are, and they're enough for D&D. They're enough. Although I would like to see a true spell sword class, and the fact that, the full-blown spellcasters are getting stuff like this makes me more and more fearful that we're never going to truly get a spell sword class, which is basically, melee fighting mixed in with magic. We're not gonna get the perfect mix between that. We're either going to get a full caster who can hit something pretty hard once each turn, maybe even twice, or we're gonna get something that it's kind of like the dance, uh, college dance bard, which is you hit something pretty hard once in a while by doing something special. Which is kind of upsetting, honestly. It kind of really is upsetting to me. Because I would really love to see a class that truly embodies the spell sword, which at the moment the closest we have to that is like the hexblade in true being a true like spell sword class. But even then, the hexblade is you only have two spell slots essentially for each fight for like 80% of your longevity as a hexblade. And I don't know. I mean, with the new warlock potentially, or the new warlock changes, I should say, it if they decide to keep the whole, you're a half caster thing instead of the packed magic spell slots, then maybe I may change my tune on it. But again, at the moment, it's just I would much rather have a couple more spell slots rather than just two, and basically just rely on the same tactic of hex a person, smack them as hard as I can, right? Because if I just want to do that, I'm just gonna play a paladin, right? I'm just gonna play a paladin because they're way more tanky than a hexblade, and they have divine smite, plain and simple. Which we'll get to that eventually after we get through the rest of Druid and Monk. Anyways, Circle of Land. So basically, the main things to focus on here is the fact that you can now cycle through the land options at the end of every long rest, which is cool. Um, so basically, you can swap through your spells constantly, which is really cool because honestly, this basically like doubles the amount of spells you would normally have. It's just they're not always prepared, essentially, but nonetheless, they're still pretty good spells. For even like the first level of it, you get Blur and Firebolt. Those are pretty good spells. You get Fireball. Fireball's a pretty good spell. Wall of Stone can be, handy. Blight is funny because you're a druid. It's very funny. Um, Hold Person, Ray of Frost can be very useful. So can Slate Storm, Ice Storm, and Cone of Cold. Those are all just phenomenal. Misty Step is just always handy. Sleep, really good. Lightning Bolt is just good. Fireball and a line, essentially. Freedom of Movement. It has its niche applications. Tree Stride it's just good. Web is pretty good. Polymorph is pretty good. Insect Plague is, yeah, all right. Um, yeah. Then there's Land's Aid, which you can basically make a cube. Well, and has expends a wild shape thing. And you choose a point within 60 feet. Uh, basically flowers and thorns appear. Basically, this is this a new? Yes, this is a new feature. I'm like, wait, I don't think they've ever had this. So basically, this is what Nature's Aid was, kind of. Each creature you choose in the area takes some necrotic damage, 2d6, which it scales as you level up. Um, and one creature in your choice regains 2d6 hit points, which again scales. So yeah, this is kind of like what Nature's, what was it called? The second level ability, Channel Nature. That was part of essentially what it was, except it got basically put into the Circle of the Land, which is neat. I definitely do like this, because you're basically sucking the life force out of other people and giving it to someone else, essentially. Um, or at least using nature to do that, which is cool. Um, Natural recovery, tapping into nature, blah blah blah. You can cast one of your spells of first level or higher that you have prepared from your circle without expending a spell slot. You have to finish a long rest before doing so again. In addition, when you finish a short rest, you can choose expended spell slots to recover equal to half your druid level, essentially round down. Spells cannot be higher than or 6th level or higher. Yeah. So they basically get wizards. What is their ability called? Their weird short rest ability where they can recover spell slots on a short rest. They get that essentially as a part of natural recovery. Which, but always being able to cast a spell for free, always welcomed. Always welcomed. And then Nature's Ward, your bond, the land protects you. You're immune to the poison condition, which is hilarious because it makes poison even more obsolete. You have resistance to a damage type associated with your current land circle, which on the table. So air, fire, cold, lightning, poison, all pretty common damage types. So you're definitely going to get value out of this somehow, somewhere. Um, makes you more inclined to fireball yourself, I suppose. Then 14th level, you basically create a 15-foot cube that acts as half cover while your allies are in that area, and the current damage resistant of Nature's Ward are also granted to them. And as a bonus action, you can move it up to 60 feet within 120 feet of yourself, which is really cool. You basically create this like movable wall essentially, which has its uses. I don't see moving it being too useful here and there, but being able to move it has its niche applications, I imagine. Um. Anyways, Circle of the Moon. Circle of the Moon actually got a couple of changes that I do like. Um. Which we'll just go over them. So circle forms, your challenge rating of the wild shapes increases. Basically, the combat wild shapes get the following things. Basically, you choose the higher of the ACs between you and the creature. So, if you have the art martial training for the druid and you have medium armor and your AC is like 15, the creature's AC is like 12 or 13, you would end up using yours, which is really cool. Nice quality of life change. You gain temporary hit points when you assume a form. You can cast abjuration spells with if they don't use material components as a cost, or consume material components, and you can just You have Moonbeam prepared while you're specifically in Wild Shape, as well as you can cast it without material components. Now, these first three, really cool. This Moonbeam thing, I don't know why it's only when you're in Wild Shape and not just constant, but it's neat. I guarantee you, people who are new to Druid or new to the subclass will constantly forget that you have to be in your wild shape, and it's only prepared when you're in wild shape. So, yeah. But anyways, I still like it. Improved circle forms. The challenge rating increases. Now equals your Druid level divided by 3, rounded down. In addition to your attacks, deal normal damage or radiant damage. You choose when those attacks hit. The issue with this is the fact that originally, the what was the original ability called? Or was this it? I don't remember what it was called. I believe it was improved something. I don't remember exactly. But this normal damage type doesn't say that's magical. Because originally, at 6th level, you did get something that was like, hey, your attacks now deal magical piercing, slashing, or bludgeoning damage, right? That's no longer the case. It's either normal damage or radiant. So if something's resistant to radiant damage, which not a whole lot of things are, you're going to be kind of fucked because it's going to be able to resist your normal damage too because it's non-magical, most likely. And so this is a very weird thing. I don't know why they're doing it like this, but they are. It's a thing though, honestly. I don't see it being too big of a deal, but it is a thing to note. Um Anyways, then you at 10th level you just gain Misty Step that is not connected to spell slots. Yeah, as a bonus action you teleport into 30 feet. An unoccupied space you can see. But you do have advantage on the next attack roll you make before the end of this turn. And you can use it a number of times equal to your Wisdom mod. And you regain all uses at the end of a long rest. And you can also spend a second spell slot of 2nd level or higher. I can speak English clearly. And no action is required to recharge it, which is really cool. It's very interesting. I do enjoy this. Because a free teleport is a free teleport, man. Like, even 30 feet, that's a whole lot. As well as giving yourself advantage on the next attack roll you make. Mm-mm-mm. Perfect. Lovely. Um, then, 14th level, Lunar Form. You gain a movable Moonbeam, which basically just means when it's active, you don't have to use your action to move it 60 feet. And then Shared Moonlight. Whenever you use Moonlight Step, you can also teleport one willing creature. And the creature must be within 10 feet of you, and you teleport it to an unoccupied space within 10 feet of your destination space. So it turns into a Misty Step, with a big upside, to a mini dimension door, essentially. As a bonus action, which is really cool. I do really like it. This honestly makes me want to play a Lunar Druid. And I do like how it does, like, lean into the moon more instead of just, haha, you can wild shape, essentially. And then there's Circle of the Sea, which is completely new. The spells you have prepared are Fog Cloud, Gust of Wind, Raves, Frost, Shatter, and Thunderwave. Fog Cloud is niche. Gust of Wind can come in handy, but again, niche. Ray of Frost, always good. Shatter can be phenomenal. Thunder Wave can also be phenomenal. Sleet Storm and Lightning Bolt, always love to see it. Control Water and Ice Storm. Control Water, a bit more niche. Ice Storm, pretty nice. And Conjure Elemental and Hold Monster, pretty nice. I'm definitely a fan of that. Now then, at third level, as a bonus action, you can, or Wrath of the Sea, as a bonus action, you can spend a use of your wild shape to manifest an aura that takes form of an ocean spray that surrounds you. It lasts for 10 minutes and ends early if you have the incapacity condition, or dismiss it, no action required, or manifest the aura again. So at the end of each of your turns, you can choose another creature you see within 10 feet of you. It must succeed a Constitution saving throw against your spell save DC. Or it takes thunder damage if the creature is large or smaller. It is pushed up to 15 feet away from you. To determine this damage, roll a number of d6s equal to your wisdom modifier. So this can basically just deal 5d6 thunder damage to someone just for existing around you. Right? Because at the end of each of your turns, which is really cool. It's basically get off me tool, create space. Definitely really nice. I like it. Then Aqua Affinity, you gain a swim speed. If you use Wild Shape to assume the form of a creature that lacks swim speed, it gains a swim speed. And you always have water breathing prepared. I don't know why they wouldn't just give you, like, the ability to breathe underwater. But, you know, it's whatever, I guess. Having a swim speed and getting swim speeds for all creatures is nice, but it's still a very niche thing. You'd much rather see something more powerful at 6th level, but that's just me. And then Stormborn, 10th level, your Wrath of the Sea confines 2 more benefits when active. You have a flying speed, equal to your normal speed, and you have resistance to cold, lightning, and thunder damage. See, now Aqua Affinity doesn't seem bad, because this is really good. Having damage resistance to 3 things, amazing, and having a flying speed for 10 minutes, phenomenal. I love it. Then 14th level, Oceanic Gift. Whenever you use Wrath of the Sea, you can manifest the aura around one willing creature within 60 feet of you, rather than you manifesting it around yourself. Gains all the benefits and uses your spell save DC and wisdom mod. In addition, you can manifest the aura around both the other creature and yourself, expending 2 uses while manifesting the aura. Which basically means you can put it on yourself and someone else, and now those people have massive giant auras around them. Well, not massive auras, but auras around them that deal a hefty amount of damage just for existing, as well as they have a flying speed, have resist cold, lightning, and thunder damage, which is, wow, it is a thing. It is very powerful. I really like this subclass. It seems very fun. I always love the idea of basically manifesting the power around someone. Let me just put it bluntly. I like it when classes can go Super Saiyan. It's fun. It's enjoyable. That's why I love Paladin so much, honestly. Because that 20th level ability really makes you feel like it. Speaking of Paladin, this isn't it. This is Monk. Now, I remember everyone saying, or basically having very mixed feelings about the Monk because I fixed it, essentially, but they kind of didn't. They just bumped up the martial art die initially. But the Monk now has weapon mastery. Weapon discipline was formerly key, given to improve versions of Step in the Wind, which take the disengage and dash action. Deflect missile has been redesigned. Heightened metabolism is a new thing. Stunning strikes is now only once per turn, and stun lasts until the start of your next turn. And powered strikes now deals force damage. Always love to see that. Acrobatic movement is the new name of unarmed movement, and it is improved. Self-Revolution replaces stillness of mind and purity of body and timeless body and allows you to remove the condition as a bonus action, not as an action. Deflect Energy is a new 13th level ability. Discipline Savior was formerly called Diamond Soul. Superior Defense, formerly Empty Body, has been redesigned not to rely on spells. And then Perfect Discipline is formerly Perfect Self, but has been moved from 20th to 15th, and Defy Death is now the 20th level ability. Oh my god, that was a lot. Okay. Martial training. Or martial arts, yeah. That's essentially the same. Bonus unarmed strikes when you use the attack action with an unarmed strike or a simple weapon. You can make one unarmed strike as bonus action, same turn. You can use your dex instead of strength for unarmed attacks. And simple weapons, except for those that have the two-handed property. Whatever. Same thing. Martial arts die. It's a d6, or unarmed strikes deal d6s, and they go up. Armor defense, same thing. Weapon mastery, same as, the fighter and barbarian stuff. Martial discipline, you discipline yourself, blah blah blah. Oh, this is key points, which they now come back on a short or long rest. Which Fury of Blows looks to be the same. Patient defense is the same. Step of the Wind is the same. Honestly, I'm sorry. I want patient defense and step of the wind to be connected to your proficiency bonus and not take up fucking key or disciplinary points or discipline points, right? Because the rogue can basically do this shit for free. Why does the monk have to spend a resource to do it? Fury of Blows, yes, that is you need to invest a resource into that, right? But why does a class need to have a resource tied to something that another class does for free? And it makes sense that they'd both be able to do. I don't understand. That's just my hot take for the day, unarmored movement. When you're not wearing armor or wielding a shield, you get 10 feet of movement, and it increases depending on your monk level. Deflect missiles. You can reduce damage you take by 1d10 plus your dex modifier. If you reduce the damage to 0, you can spend You can spend a point to redirect it to a creature within 60 feet of yourself that isn't behind total cover, and they must succeed on a dex save or take damage equal to 2 rolls of your martial art die. And the damage is the same as the, damage that would be dealt to you. So piercing, most likely. Of course, monk subclasses, slow fall, same thing. Extra attack, same thing. Stunning strikes, same thing, except they nerfed it a little bit. It now only lasts until the start of your next turn, as well as they can only be used once per turn, I believe, is what it said on the notes. Which it does not specify that you can only use it once a turn. Oh, yep, yes it can. Yes, it does. I'm just blind and can't read. And then 6th level Empowered Strikes. You deal damage with your unarmed strikes. It can deal your choice of force damage or its normal damage type. Yeah, that's actually pretty neat. I like that. Evasion, which, okay, they do, or like earlier, I wondered if they had like the rogue thing. They do. I think it's literally called the same thing too, evasion. Heightened metabolism. This is new. You can spend 1 minute resting. You can give yourself all the benefits of a short rest. Oh. That's pretty powerful. Okay. When you aren't wearing armor or wielding shield, you gain the... Okay, yeah, you can run up walls and stuff. Self restoration, you can, as a bonus action, Remove one of the following conditions: charm, frightened, or poisoned. In addition, you can forego food and drink. It does not give you levels of exhaustion. Okay, so you no longer need to eat or drink. That's awesome. Disease. Both classes gain immunity to disease. The immunity has been removed from the playtest versions of the classes because the word disease does not have a solid meaning in the rules, and for years the rules have been disease-like effects through the poison condition. The game will continue to use the condition in that fashion. Okay, so poisoned is basically diseased. Okay, honestly. Or they could have just, like, given, like, a couple of diseases and, like, I don't know. This feels like a weird thing. But, whatever. Deflect energy. You can now deflect missile. Yes. You can now deflect everything. Because you're a monk. You're badass. Why is my phone buzzing? I don't know. Anyways. Disciplined survivors. Your physical and mental discipline grant you proficiency in all saving throws. Okay, so this is Diamond Soul. And whenever you make a saving throw, you can spend, same thing. Perfect discipline. When you roll initiative, you regain 4 discipline points. Same thing, yeah. Then superior defense as a bonus action, you can spend 3 discipline points to perfectly bolster yourself against harm. You gain resistance to all damage except for force. That is a very good effect. That is a very good thing. I very much like that as a bonus action. So instead of going all on an offense like monks typically do, they can go defensive and tank a whole lot. I very much like that, yeah. Then defy death. If you drop to 0 hit points, you can spend 4 discipline points, roll 4 martial art dice, and add them together. Your number of hit points instead changes to that roll, or the total rolled. Each time you use this feature after the first discipline point costs by 2. Oh, jeez. When you finish a short rest or a long rest, this discipline point cost resets to 4. So, you're basically unkillable as long as you have a fuck ton of discipline points, which is hilarious. I love it. This is definitely a 20th level ability. Yeah, this is what you want as a 20th level ability. Just never fucking dying. I very much like it. Okay. Anyways, subclasses. We'll go over them a little bit. Shadow Arts has been redesigned. We'll actually go over that. Improved Shadow Step. We need to go over that because that is as a new feature. And Cloak and Shadows has been moved to 17th level and redesigned to empower the monk while in dim light or darkness. Okay, so we're basically just going over all. Wonderful. You can cast Darkness. Cool. And you can also move it. Cool. And you can see within it. Cool. You gain Dark Vision. Cool. If you have Dark Vision, your range increases by 60 feet. Cool. You know Minor Illusion, and Wisdom is your spellcasting modifier for it. Cool. Shadow Step. While you are entirely within dim light or darkness, you can use your bonus action to teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space that is also in dim light and darkness. Then have advantage on the next melee attack you make before the end of your turn. Cool. So it's much like the Moon Step that the Lunar Druid has. And then it gets improved. Which you can use a discipline point to remove the requirement that you must start and end in dim light. As a bonus action, you... Wait. So basically it just becomes a teleport within 60 feet. Oh, that's actually pretty neat. Then, as a part of the bonus action, you can make an unarmed strike immediately after the teleport. Then Cloak of Shadows. As a bonus action, while entirely within dim light or darkness, you can spend 3 points to shroud yourself in magical darkness. Until you have the incapacitated condition, or until you end your turn in bright light. While shrouded, you are invisible. You are partially incorporeal, which means you can move through a creature's terrain as if they were difficult terrain, but take some damage if you end within an object or creature. And then Shadow Flurry, your Furia Blows. You can use Furia Blows without spending key points. Or discipline points, my bad. Neat. Very neat. I do very much like what they did. It is very interesting. You are very mobile, yet you have a lot of tricks up your sleeve to gain the upper hand and give yourself advantage and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm into it. I like it. Discipline, new feature, uh, new feature. Ah, environmental for, Jesus, everything's new. Okay. You have attuned yourself with the element of force multiverse, blah blah blah. You can imbue yourself with the elemental energy for 10 minutes, or until you have the incapacitated condition. Following benefits for the duration, blah blah blah. Elemental strikes, they deal acid, cold, fire, or lightning damage rather than normal. And when you deal with one of these damage types with the unarmed strike, force the target to make a strength save. On a failed, you can move them up to 10 feet towards or away from you as elemental energy swirls around it. And then, then you get Breach, which they probably should have put that first to, make this less confusing on the first read run. Anyways, your unarmed strikes has a reach 10 feet greater than normal. So you have a reach of essentially 15 feet. Neat. And then Environmental Burst as a magic action. You can spend 2 discipline points to cause an environmental energy to burst into a point. Oh, you basically just do a mini fireball, essentially. Yeah, the creature takes... Each creature in the sphere must make a dex save. On a failed save, each creature takes the chosen damage of 3 of your martial arts die, and on success, the creature takes half of it. Before or after you take this action, you can make 1 unarmed strike as a bonus action. Fun. Interesting. I like it. You get a mini fireball, essentially. Yeah, at 6th level, what is your die? 6th level, it is a D8. So 3d8 in a 20-foot radius, and you're a martial character, that's not bad. Then what is... I went too far. Then you can just, as long as you have dice, or discipline points to spend, you could just do this. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, I like it. Then at 11th level, Stride of the Elements. When you use Step of the Wind, you gain a flying speed and swim speed equal to your speed for 10 minutes. Pretty neat. I like that as well. Then, the 17th level ability. When you are using your Elemental Attune feature, you also gain the following benefits for the duration. You're resistant to one of the following damage types: acid, cold, fire, or lightning. At the start of your turn, you can change this. Destructive Stride, when you use Step of the Wind, your speed increases by 20 feet until the end of your turn for the duration. Any creature you choose takes damage equal to 1 roll of the martial arts die. And when you enter space within 5 feet of it, the damage is the same type as that you chose for the feature's resistance. A creature can take this damage only once per turn. So you can't basically dance in front of them, essentially. That's actually pretty cool. And then Empowered Strikes, once Each of your turns, you deal extra damage to the target equal to one roll of your martial arts die. When you hit it with an unarmed strike, the damage is the same type, chosen from its features damage resistance. I can speak English. Um, you know, it's I'm not against it. I'm not against it in any way. But I would have liked a ability that lets you do something with the elements. So like you spend a discipline point, doing something with water, like control water or something like that. You have the control water spell or whatever, or you cast it without using a spell slot. Then like acid, have like a cone of acid you shoot out or something like that. Fire, like you can spend discipline points and basically either cast a fire spell or create like a wall of fire or cast wall of fire even without using a spell slot. Or do something to that effect, essentially. I would have liked to see. But overall, I'm not against it. I'm definitely not against it. It's a pretty cool one. I do like the environmental burst. But again, I would have liked to see something like utilize the elements instead of just being like, yeah, you deal acid, cold, or fire, or lightning damage. I would have liked something else. The open hand seems just to have gotten quality of life changes, except for fleet step. Um, yeah. So let's just go over fleet step and then continue onward because I've already been recording for like an hour and 30. Nope. Okay, so fleet step. You can easily stride out of harm's way. You can use step of the wind, without spending any discipline points. Phenomenal. Overall, this is basically just your classic, your monk, you're gonna outwit your opponent kind of thing. And they basically just changed things, which I, I mean, it's a thing. Now then, paladins. I don't remember exactly what they did ever to everything in the first play test that paladins were in. Paladins are my favorite class. That's kind of when I wanted to rush through the second thing of monk, or the third monk subclass. Which I should say overall, monk, it looks better, but it needs a better way to mandate its discipline points at lower levels because it doesn't get that free short rest until what, 7th level? No. Oh yeah, here it is, heightened metabolism. Which, I mean, monks are just gonna suffer with that. Like paladins not having a whole lot of spell slots, and they do have more channel divinities though, so that's nice, I suppose. Um, anyways, I don't remember if they got spellcasting at first level or second level in the thing. They now have weapon mastery, which is always nice. Lay on hands is now a bonus action. That is a great quality of life change. Spell prep is the same. Paladins no longer choose. Paladin can change one prepared spell upon finishing a long rest, and cantrips are no longer included. The paladin instead gets weapon mastery. Okay, so they lost cantrips. Whatever. I kind of liked that, but they don't need it. They don't, especially if they have weapon mastery. Which now the Paladin Smite, formerly called Divine Smite, now gives you a list of Paladin exclusive smite spells that you always have prepared. I remember hearing about this in the little video that they did. I'm disappointed to see Divine Smite go, but it's kind of it's weird because Divine Smite again it needed to be cut down in a way, but this is probably the best way they can keep the changes they wanted to instead of just being able to Nova something, especially at like higher levels and stuff like that. And it's sad to see it go, but it's whatever. And then of course Channel Divinity is the same as with Cleric. Subclasses now match the progression of the 2014 thing. Or if Protection is now back at 6th level, and it is now inactive if you're incapacitated, because previously it didn't state that. Now it does, again. Sad. Oh well. And then Abjure Foes now does nothing on a successful save. Sad. Aura of Courage is now at 10th level again. Radiant Strikes now works on melee weapons and on Earth Strikes. I thought it always did. Maybe it didn't. Oh no, because you could smite without a weapon. That's what it was. Now Radiant Strikes is now the extra. Yeah, okay. Restoring Touch has been moved to 14th level. And Divine Conduit has been removed in favor of an Aura expansion returning to 18th level. Can't we just have both? Oh well, I guess. Okay, so anyways, Lay on Hands is now a bonus action, which is really cool. This definitely makes Paladin significantly more tanky if they want to be greedy with their own points. For spellcasting, again, the same. Weapon Mastery, again, works the same as all the other Weapon Mastery things. Okay, you have Mastered Smiting your targets with Divine Energy. You can always have certain spells ready when you reach Paladin levels specified in the Smite thing, which is, their levels essentially 5th level, 4th, 3rd, all of that. Divine Smite is now a spell. Sag. In addition, you can cast one of your prepared spells from this feature without expending a spell slot, which is nice. But again, sad to see Divine Smite go. It really is. Fighting style, same thing. Defense, dueling, great weapon fighting, or protection. Which, it's weird that they don't have Holy Warrior here, which is in Tasha's. It's weird that they haven't moved that over to this one. I would have liked to see that one in. This one. Especially since they, removed the fucking, cantrips that they got at 1st level, but oh well. Channel Divinity. Divine Sense. What was that? Anyways, you can use Channel Divinity twice. Divine Sense is now a Channel Divinity thing, which is interesting. I don't know why it has to be, because they actually made it useful, I guess. So as a bonus action, you can open your awareness to detect celestials, fiends, and undead for 10 minutes. Or until you're incapacitated. You know the location of any types of those creatures within 60 feet of you. And you know the creature type within the same radius. You also detect the presence of any place or object that has been desecrated or consecrated, as with the Hollow spell. Fun. Yeah, but no. They actually made it useful, so, they have to, nerf it somehow, I guess. Not fond of it, but whatever. I guess because it now technically goes through walls, and it lasts for 10 minutes instead of that just brief instance. Yeah. Fun. Faithful Steed, still the same thing. Order of Protection, still looks like it is the same thing. Sorry. Abjure Foes. Um, yeah, no longer does anything if they fail, or if they succeed, my bad. I don't remember what it did exactly if they did succeed. What was they were still affected by, I don't remember. But something, I guess. Um, did they do anything to Order of Courage? Order of Courage, it's just back at 10th level. Yeah. Then Radiant Strikes. Um, yep, they just take an extra 1d8 radiant damage. Your strikes and stuff. And then Restoring Touch. Right, Restoring Touch is now with your Lay on Hands. I forgot about that. Yeah. So this isn't a bonus action, which is really powerful, but it's also kind of like, it's interesting, to say the least. Or expansion, of course, which would have been nice to have an aura expansion and, another ability, but whatever. Um, and of course, the 20th level ability of the Paladin is with their subclasses, which we will get to. It's the Oath of Devotion. They redid the spell list because of the Paladin's Smite thing. Smite of Protection has been moved to 15th level. In addition, it now works with all of your Paladin Smites and provides half cover to you and your allies in your aura of protection. Huh? Okay, anyways, we'll get to that, I suppose. And then Holy Nimbus now provides advantage on saving throws against effects from fiends and undead. That's a nice little benefit. So the spell list, protection from evil and good, Shield of Faith. I don't remember if any smite was there before. This used to be a smite, I believe. They didn't have Guardian of Faith before. They did not have Dispel Magic or Beacon of Hope, I believe, as well. That's nice. And then Sacred Weapon as a bonus action, expend Channel Divinity, add your Charisma modifier to attack rolls. Each time you hit, you can deal it either its normal damage or straight up radiant, and it emits light. It's always been the same. I would like this to deal damage too, but it doesn't need to, especially since they made it a bonus action in the last one. And if it stays a bonus action, then it definitely doesn't need to. But if they change it into an action, it should deal damage too. But I don't think they're going to, so should be good. Then Aura of Devotion. Your allies are immune to the charm condition. Your Aura of Protection. Same thing with, the other aura. It just ends if they're within it. Then Smite of Protection now radiates protective energy whenever you cast any of your Paladin Smite spells. You and your allies in your Aura of Protection have half cover until the start of your next turn. So that basically just gives everyone +2 AC. And technically a +2 to their certain saving throws like dex saves and stuff like that. This is really weird. Because originally it used to give temporary hit points. It no longer does that. But I do like this because it's weird because it encourages you to smite as well as like just getting half cover isn't bad. Just existing, it's nice. Then Holy Nimbus is a bonus action. Of course, you now have advantage against any saving throws you're forced to make by a fiend or undead. This is awesome. This could be really helpful. Because it's any saving throw. So if you're fighting like a lich or something, your paladins fucking got this shit. Radiant damage. They kept that. That's fine. Then sunlight, same thing. And of course, you can reuse it again by using a 5th level spell slot, which is really awesome. So it doesn't look like they changed anything too much. I would, especially because this is now a 15th level ability, I would like this to, I don't remember if it healed in the last playtest or if it gave temporary hit points. I would definitely want it to do either of the two, though, as well as this. Give half cover. Because, I don't know, this... It seems... I don't know, because I'm kind of underwhelmed by it right now. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of am. But I also know it's kind of really strong because you pair this, because you set up your sacred weapon first, and then you smite, and you have, a +3 at relatively minimum to your attack roll. Plus you're already like +5, plus, your proficiency bonus, relatively, speaking, on what your stats are probably going to look like in theory. So, yeah, I'm okay with it. Oath of Glory, Inspiring Smite now requires a bonus action. It now works with all spell smites. Athlete lasts for an hour rather than 10 minutes. And Aura of a Clarity now enhances Aura Protection, which now the feature's range is being greater than before. Okay, that's nice. Then, yeah. Guiding Bolt, Heroism, Haste, Protection from Airshi. Wait. Were those the same? I think Flame Strike was definitely here. I don't know if Commune was, though. Inspiring Smite. Yeah, this is the same. Yep, this is the same. Oh, yep, it does increase by 10 feet. Oh, wait, no. That's the same thing. But your aura now goes off. Okay, so they're basically fusing the auras together, the subclass auras with the base class auras. Which, it makes sense, honestly. Because it doesn't make sense that, you have basically, like, 2 auras. Then Glorious Defense is the same, then Living Legend is the same as well, I believe. Yeah. Same old, same old. Then Ancients. Oh. Yes. Oh, Nature's Wrath. Okay. So Nature's Wrath got changed. Turn the Faceless has been replaced. Okay. Aura of Warding enhances the Aura of Protection and provides resistance to... Oh no. Did they change it? Is it no longer advantage on spell saves? Or no, just not even advantage on spell saves. It was resistance to spell damage. Um, then, yeah, okay. So, so as an action, you can spend one of your uses, your Channel Infinity. This is Nature's Wrath. Each creature of your choice that you can see within 15 feet of you must succeed a strength saving throw or have your strength condition for 1 minute. And they can repeat their saving throw at the end of each of their turns, ending the effect on self. oh my, you don't know how much better this ability is. So if you didn't know previously, you can only choose a singular creature, use your action, and basically restrain them. Potentially, if they failed the save the first time. But now it's each creature you can see within 15 feet of you. Oh my god, this is so much better. But it now probably goes down to this, the aura of warding, which you and your allies have resistance to necrotic, psychic, and radiant damage while in the aura. No longer gives straight up spell resistance. This arguably has gotten much worse. Necrotic damage you do face quite a bit, for the most part. It's not uncommon to be faced with it. Psychic damage basically never happens, and radiant damage is very far in few. I mean, it makes sense why they changed it, because having resistance to spell damage, period, was niche, per se. But even then, when it came up, it came in clutch. It really did. Then, of course, Undying Sentinel, did they do anything to that? Now also heals you. Oh, so they changed it. When you're reduced to 0 hit points, not outright killed, you drop to 1 instead, and you regain hit points to 3 times your paladin level. That was a lot of hit points. And, okay, so you basically get a... Every long rest, you basically get a free pick-me-up. Because what is 15 times 3? A number, it is... I can do basic math, I swear. 55 hit points? I mean, that's not bad for... That's honestly not bad. Yeah, and of course, additionally, you don't suffer old age, and cannot be aged magically. Because originally, Elder Champion does still have the regeneration effect. Huh. They just gave you... Okay. You know, I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth, honestly. Enemies in your aura have disadvantage on saving... Okay, so as a bonus action. It's a bonus action. I thought it was an action before. It probably was. You can imbue your aura of protection with primal power. Oh, so now your aura is... A lot of things are imbued with your aura now. Makes sense, but... I did like the whole transformation thing, though. It's becoming, the avatars and stuff like that. Enemies in your aura have disadvantage on saving throws against spells and channel divinity options. Or against yours, specifically. At the start of your turn, you regain 10 hit points. And whenever you cast a spell that has casting time of 1 action, you instead can use your bonus action. And of course, you can use a 5th level spell slot to activate this again. Or restore it. Essentially, restore the ability to use it again using a 5th level spell slot. Overall, they made the channel divinity thing a lot better. That's honestly all I can ask for. The aura getting changed. That's for the 15th level ability and getting that boost that it did. And again, Nature's Wrath being significantly better. Like borderline broken almost. I really can't knack it for anything really. So it's fine. It's still very powerful. Um with spells, they got rid of Hunter's Mark for Compellable. Honestly makes sense. Um Now lets you move your vow to another creature if the one you had 0 hit points, or hit 0, before the feature ends, and its range has increased. Okay, nothing too bad. You can now reduce the target's speed to 0. Oh. After your enemy, of course, it's now a base class thing. Then Avenging Angel is now a bonus action instead of an action, and it now has 10 minutes rather than an hour. But you can use a bubble spell slot to gain the use again. And it is a bonus action now. So, yeah, let's so Bell Duel replaced Hunter's Mark, which is fine, I suppose. It's not phenomenal, I would say, but it has its uses. Vow of Enmity, which is you gain an advantage on the attack roll against the creature, which is probably why they got rid of Hunter's Mark, because you could kind of start nuking something. And of course, yeah, because especially since they added this basically remark ability, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Now, Relentless Avenger. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, you can reduce this creature's speed to 0, and then move up to half your speed as the same reaction, and you don't provoke opportunity of attacks. Really good. This makes this ability a hell of a lot better. Because originally you just hit something, move half your speed, and that thing would continue going. Like, the most you could do is try and hope and body block a door or something. Or a choke point. But now it's... you keep that creature right next to you. Which actually starts begging the question on whether or not you take Sentinel with Oath of Vengeance. That's actually a conversation to be had. 15th level, you immediately after creatures, hit by your vow, hits or misses with an attack roll, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack against them. Really cool. Then, of course, Avenging Angel is now a bonus action. Lasts 10 minutes instead of an hour. Sag. You sprout wings, gain flying speed. And whenever a creature starts their turn within your aura, they must succeed a wisdom save or be frightened of you. Or until they take any damage. And attack rolls against them have advantage. Which, of course, the same old Paladin 20th level thing. I understand why it lasts 10 minutes instead of an hour. Because after the battle, your Paladin would just basically be flying around for a while. And that really wouldn't make sense thematically, because, like, why the hell would a Paladin be flying after the battle? They would only, I suppose, fight the battle and then be done, stop using their powers, and save them for the next battle. Something like that, I guess. I don't know. It was funny that lasted an hour before, but now it's 10 minutes, so... but I do like this whole thing of making all the 20th level abilities bonus actions. It makes playing a Paladin so much easier. But the abilities are still decently powerful. It's just that this one wasn't as powerful as the rest of them, because, like, how some of them give you resistance to all damage. Like, yeah, it's... Then again, the rest of the subclass is still pretty strong, even without this, so... it makes sense, I suppose. Now the Ranger. God damn, the Ranger's gonna take forever to get through with how many changes they have. Okay. Let's just get through the things that have changed. Deft Explorer replaces Expertise at level 1. Now includes one Expertise choice, along with semi-terrain-oriented material. And it now improves at 9th level. Spellcasting. Finished, it's the same thing as, that, and they lose cantrips, because Weapon Mastery. Favored enemy is now a 2nd level, and no longer removes concentration from Hunter's Mark, which was overpowered in the playtests. The feature now instead allows you to cast the spell a number of times without expending a spell slot. Makes sense because, you know, getting an extra d6 of damage once each turn for free, and you can also do something else, like hell, you can Hunter's Mark and then Hex. Like, think about that. Um, that's actually very funny that you could do that. um, yeah. No, that's actually funny that you could do that. Anyways, yeah. Range subclasses, same thing. Conjure Barrage is a new feature. Nature's Veil no longer uses spell slots and has been moved to 14th level. Okay. Tireless gains temporary hit points as an action. Conjure Volley, 17th ability. Feral Senses is now 18th level, and Foe Slayer is an improved version of the 2014 feature. Okay, so we have some things to look at. So Deft Explorer, you are unsurpassed. You get expertise in one ranger skill. In addition, you choose 2 types of terrain out of, you know, the terrains, including the Underdark. You have advantage on nature checks of the terrain, and you have advantage on survival checks to track creatures in them. And you can replace one of the terrains after a long rest. Honestly, that's pretty cool. I like that. Gives you versatility. You always have the ability to do some decent nature checks. You are a hunter. I really like that. Really gives you the feel of a hunter. Spellcasting, nothing to really say about it. Of course, weapon mastery. We all know what it does. If you don't, go back to the previous playtest, or go back to my other video talking about it and how fantastic it is and how much I love it. Favorite foe. You always have Hunter Mark prepared. Cast a number of times equal to Wisdom modifier without expending a spell slot. Phenomenal. And of course you regain them at the end of a long rest. Fighting style, same. Here it is, Conjure Barrage. Channeling Nature's Might can cause your weapon to multiply and strike at creatures before you. You have the Conjure Barrage spell prepared. You still have to use the spell slot to cast it. Of course you do. Tireless. As an action, you can give yourself temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus your Wisdom modifier. You can use it a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier. You gain all uses after a long rest. And decrease exhaustion whenever you finish a short rest. Your exhaustion level, if you have any, decreases by 1. That is phenomenal. It's not bad. Nature's Veil. I said Veal last time, didn't I? I did. I said Nature's Veil. Whatever. This is now Nature's Veal. You invoke spirits of nature to magically hide yourself from view as a bonus action, and you can now give yourself the invisible condition till the end of your next turn. Oh, that's lovely. You can use this a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier, and of course, you regain all uses after a long rest. So Nature's Veil is very amazing. It's actually very good. Those are subclasses. Conjure Volley, you always have Conjure Volley prepared. And you don't get to use it for free once, because of course you can't. Why would rangers get anything useful? You have Blind Sense, Feral Senses. At 18th level, you gain Blind Sense, or Blind Sight. Jesus. That's actually pretty useful, right? At 18th level, because you see invisible things, you could basically end up seeing through illusions and stuff. I know last time I said seeing invisible things isn't very useful, but this can be useful. It's arguably more useful because now being blinded isn't as bad for you. So yeah, it's quality of life, I suppose. And now Foe Slayer. Whenever you have a Hunter's Mark on a creature, you now add your Wisdom modifier to the attack roll, or you can add your Wisdom modifier to the attack roll, potentially making it a hit. Um, in addition, whenever you hit a target with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can add your wisdom modifier to the damage. But this only triggers when you miss. But it gives you a damage boost then? I don't... This is a really weird ability. I don't know how I feel about it. Um, why isn't this just add your wisdom modifier to attack rolls against a creature with Hunter's Mark? And if it hits, you deal additional damage equal to your wisdom modifier. Oh wait, no, that already does that. I'm stupid. I can't read. So in addition, whenever you hit that target with an attack roll and deal damage to it, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, no, actually, no, this is fine. I just misinterpreted it. So if the attack misses, you can then just add whatever your wisdom is to the attack roll and see if it hits. So most likely a +3 or something. And yeah. And then if you do deal damage to a creature that has Hunter's Mark on it, you automatically add that your wisdom modifier to the damage. Okay. That's fine. Okay. I understand now. I'm quite tired. uh yeah, actually no, that's a perfectly fine 20th level ability. I actually quite like it. The Beastmaster. Primal Companion. Oh, excuse me. Primal Companion is returning from Tasha's. Um, exceptional training now allows you to command your beast, and as a bonus action, to take the dash, disengage, dodge, or help action. And it's damage. Oh god. Excuse me. I'm having indigestion, and it's trying to kill me. And the beast's attack ignore damage resistance. That is amazing. And then Bestial Fury now allows your beast to benefit from the Hunter's Mark spell. That is also great. And of course, you get the different beast stats, which essentially, again, this is all Tasha Cauldron of Everything stuff, so nothing super new, just a little bit of it's revamped. So I'll, yeah, pause if you want to read it and read through it. Gloomstalker. What has changed now? Dread Ambusher now allows the ranger to deal extra damage more often than only during the first round of combat. Includes the Fright condition. Okay, Umbral Sight is now just better quality of life things. Stalker. Okay, it looks like we just need to go through everything for this. One question I have though is why the fuck does the ranger subclasses only get one spell they can use for their thing? I don't know why they only get one. I don't know. Because paladins get two. They're half-casters. Everyone else gets two. Even the artificer gets two. I still don't understand why the ranger only gets one spell. Each level of their subclass. I don't know. Anyways. That's whatever, I suppose. Which, nothing seems to be different from it. Okay. Dread Ambusher. You have to mush the blah 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 benefits. So ambushers leap. At the start of your first turn of each combat, your speed increases by 10 feet until the end of the turn. Awesome. Frighten. Once per turn, you attack a creature and hit it with a weapon. You can deal an extra 1d8 psychic damage to the target and force it to make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed, it's frightened of you until the start of your next turn. You can use this a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier and regain them at the end of a long rest. And then, of course, you get a bonus to your initiative roll equal to your wisdom modifier. I like this. This is nice. I don't remember, because Yes, so basically the whole frightened part is new, I believe, because it fits into line with how Rangers have been like doing that extra 1d8 or 1d6 extra damage each turn with a benefit, essentially. Because I know this Feywild version of Ranger, I forget what the subclass is called. Theirs can like charm people, I believe, or frighten them as well. I don't quite remember. Umbral Sight, you gain Dark Vision, and if you already have it, its range increases by 60 feet. That's awesome, and while you're entirely in darkness, you have the Invisible condition to any creature that relies on Dark Vision to see in darkness. That is wonderful. Iron Mind. You have honed your ability to resist mind-altering powers of your prey. You gain proficiency in Wisdom saving throws. That's awesome. If you already have it, you gain proficiency in Intelligence or Charisma. Your choice. That is very good. Gaining proficiency in a saving throw, always wonderful. And Wisdom is actually fairly common, so you know that's just great. And if you already have Wisdom, then you can always choose between Intelligence and Charisma, which is even better. That was Iron Mind. Then Stalker's Flurry. This when you use the Frighten effect of your Dread Ambusher, you can cause one of the following additional effects. You can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature within 5 feet, and that is within the weapon's range. Or you can cause each creature within 10 feet of you to make a Wisdom save, and if they fail, they are frightened until the start of your next turn. Oh, I love it. This is awesome. I definitely love this. This is giving martial classes mass CC is phenomenal because they want to be right up there. And frightening creatures is probably like one of the best forms of CC. Granted, at 11th level, there are going to be tons of things that are immune to frighten, but overall, it's still great to have because if they are immune, just hit another creature. That's all you got to do. I definitely love it. I definitely do like this. Then Shadowy Dodge. You can dodge the wisps of supernatural shadow. Dodge with wisps of supernatural shadow around you. When a creature makes an attack roll against you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the roll. If the attack misses, you can then teleport 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. That's pretty fun. Gloomstalker got a pretty big update, and it made it way better. I definitely like it, because I've actually been wanting to play Ranger Gloomstalker if I had the opportunity to, and I kind of want to convince the DM, if I ever get the opportunity to use the D&D Wonder version, because it seems very good. I like it. Anyways, now onto the Hunter subclass. Uh, Giant Killer has been changed and now works on any size. Hunter's Lore has been moved to 3rd level. Defensive Tactics returns. Contains evasion and uncanny dodge for superior Hunter's defense and allows the new options Hunter's Leap. Okay. Superior Hunter's Prey replaces multi-attack and lets you choose another from the Hunter's Prey. Interesting. And then Superior Hunter's Defense now lets you choose another option from the defensive tactics. Okay. Get one of the following options from Hunter's Prey: Colossal Slayer, Wordbreaker, Retaliator. Yeah. That's the same thing, Hordebreaker. Yeah, these are all basically the same, except Colossal Slayer is now against anything, because that was Giant Killer, I believe. Hunter's Lore. You know whether that creature has damage, resistance, or immunity condition immunities, or damage vulnerabilities, and if the creature has any, you know what they are. Phenomenal. I love abilities like this. and that's at 3rd level. It makes it even better, especially since you cast Hunter's Mark for free. Just makes it phenomenal. I love it. I love it. Then defensive tactics. You either get evasion, which is, like the rogue and monk thing. Hunter's leap. If an enemy enters a space within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to move half your speed without provoking opportunity of attacks. So you just run away for free, I guess, or you can get closer to other enemies. Or you can use your reaction to half the attacker's damage against you using your reaction. Not bad. And then, of course, 11th level, you gain another of the Hunter's Prey, which, is either Hordebreaker, Retaliator, or Colossal Slayer. And then Superior Defense, of course, you get one of the other ones, which I don't know why you're not going to choose Evasion and Uncanny Dodge, but, I mean, if you can find a use for Hunter's Leap, go for it. Then, of course, Colossal Slayer and Retaliator are the best ones here, and I don't know if you're going to use a Hordebreaker a whole lot, but, I mean, like, it's definitely has its uses. Let's see. Then, yeah, that was it. So that's it for the Ranger. The Ranger got glow up. I definitely like it. It's definitely in the right direction. Now for my hot take on the Rogue. Fuck the Rogue. Fuck the Rogue horribly. I hate Rogues. They're so unfun to play with and to DM for. It's obnoxious. Now then, let's just go through the first one. Sneak attack no longer requires you to be using the attack action. Why? Why is this a thing now? They now have weapon mastery. Okay, that's whatever. Of course, the subclass thing, whatever. Steady aim is now a 3rd level feature. Cunning Strikes is a new 5th level ability, which we'll get to that. Expertise is now back to 6th level. Evasion is now back to 7th level. Reliable Talent has been moved from 11th to 7th level. Subtle Strikes has been removed because of the additional Steady Aim. Improved Cunning Strikes is a new feature. Now, let's just start going through this all. So, of course, we now have discussed that you no longer need to use your action to get sneak attack. I don't know why they're buffing Rogue like that, but you know what? Okay, whatever. It's not that bad. Thieves' Cant, of course, same thing. Weapon Mastery, you all know what that is. Cunning Action. You could just dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action. Whatever. Steady Aim as a bonus action, give yourself advantage. Oh man, it's almost like Rogues didn't need an easier way to get sneak attack. But you know what do I know? Let's get to this 5th level ability, Cunning Strike. Why the fuck do Rogues need this? Here's the thing. I understand that Rogues don't do much in combat other than just deal a shit ton of damage. But that's kind of like their thing, right? They're kind of like the glass cannons, right, of the martial classes. So please explain to me why all of these effects are extremely powerful, but only require them to sacrifice 1 die of damage. Because as let's go back up to the table. Yeah, beyond 5th level, the rogue doesn't really give a damn about dealing extra damage. Now, granted, it's not a whole lot, but it's the fact that rogues already deal a lot of damage. They already have expertise in a ton of things. They already have so much versatility crammed in them. Why are we giving them more? That's my question. Like, I understand it's new combat stuff and the sort, but you're giving them weapon mastery too. So again, I'm confused. Anyways, all these things have their own DC, of course. And you can choose to forego, a die of damage to deal an effect. Like, you can disarm a target if they fail a dex save. You can poison them if they fail a Constitution saving throw. You can trip them, knocking them prone. Or you could instantly move half your speed, not provoking opportunity of attacks. I don't know why we're giving rogues this much power. I don't know why. Because I understand rogues are popular and stuff, but it's just... This is going to be, like, super annoying as DM. Just constantly having a rogue hide behind walls and then just shoot an arrow and then knock someone prone. Then have, another marshal come up and beat the shit out of that person. It's gonna get so tedious, honestly. It really is. And, like, I understand, like, their sneak attack damage isn't as high as it used to be, I believe. But it's still obnoxious. And so, I don't know, maybe I'm just super biased against rogues. But I just don't understand, because now, like, look at this, reliable talent. It's back at 7th level. This was originally like a 10th, 11th level ability, right? Basically making it to where rogues, whenever they make an ability check in something they're proficient in, or with the tool, nothing's lower than a 10. That's not entertaining. And rogues don't struggle to get sneak attack. They never have. I mean, in certain scenarios, yeah, if they get cornered and they have nowhere to hide or to run, but even then, at that point, it's most likely the rogue's fault for getting them in that situation. And so it's... I just don't understand. But yeah, that's... Reliable Talent's back at 7th level. I don't know why it's back down here. Cunning Strike. Oh yeah, you can now use 2 Cunning Strike effects when you deal sneak attack damage. So not only can you disarm them, but you can also knock them prone. Or you could poison them and knock them prone. Yeah, it's... I don't know. And then they have more they can do at 14th level. Oh, they can either daze a target, they can knock out a target, straight up putting something unconscious. I mean, yeah, this basically takes up all of their sneak attack damage, but still, just being able to put something unconscious, and they can do this again and again and again and again and again and again and again until it works. Unless the creature is immune to being put unconscious. You see where my issue's coming from? It's the fact that rogues don't struggle, and, like, here's the thing, their first abilities. Yeah, they're at low levels, they suck. But again, like, past level 5, they don't, they don't care. They really don't. Oop, we got too far. Um, yeah. And then obscure, uh, you, you blind a creature when you hit it. If it fails a dex save. Why? Why is this a thing? Just why? Yeah, 15th level, they gain proficiency in wisdom and charisma saving throws, because, why not? Um, Elusive. Uh, no attack roll can have advantage against you unless you're unconscious or incapacitated. Fun. Then 20th level, you have an uncanny knack for succeeding when you need to. It's almost like reliable talent does that for you already, but you know what? If you fail a D20 test, you can just turn it into a 20. Yeah, it's just we'll go through this when I'm finished with the subclasses, going through them. So then, Arcane Tricksters. They're no longer restricted to illusion and enchantment spells. They are now just the arcane list, which is really cool, and they can change cantrips when they gain a level. And they can use an arcane focus. That's pretty cool. And they've now redesigned the certain options for Cunning Shrike with Mage Hand. Which, of course, they have their own little spell list here, which you can look at. When you cast Mage Hand, you can make the hand invisible, control it as a bonus action. You can use Thief Tools with it, it's the same thing. Yeah, then there's the Versatile Trickster, which is the thing. You gain the ability to distract targets with your Mage Hand. You can use the disarm or trip options of your Cunning Shrike. You can also target that option. At creature within 5 feet of the spectral hand. So basically, if you have your hand out and it's between two creatures, you can basically end up tripping or disarming both creatures. Yeah. 17th level. Spell Thief. I don't think it has changed in any way. Just level. You know it, you can cast it. Doesn't need to be an arcane spell. Yep. Nothing's changed there. So Arcane Trickster is relatively the same, except for the new 13th level ability, essentially. Or the redesigned ability. And the reason I'm skipping spellcasting is because it's basically the exact same as what it was. That's what I've done with all the classes, if you haven't figured out. Assassin or Assassinate now gives you advantage on initiative rolls and extra damage for the feature no longer requires a target to be surprised. Awesome. That's actually a good thing for them. Combines infiltration, expertise, and imposter. And Venom Weapon is now 13th level. There is a new 13th level ability. And Death Strike no longer requires a target to be surprised, and instead relies on sneak attack. So, During the first round of each combat, you have advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken its turn, and if your sneak attack hits any target during that round, the target takes extra damage of the weapon type equal to your rogue's level. Hooray, more damage. It's almost like that, thing that you gave them that's supposed to reduce their damage to do special effects no longer fucking matters. Anyways, 9th level. Yeah, 9th level, infiltration expertise. It's now just a combination between the disguise stuff and, yeah. Now, Envenom Weapons is the new thing, which, when you use the poison option of the Cunning Strike, the target takes 2d6 poison damage whenever it fails the saving throw. This ignores resistance to poison damage. Damn, it's almost like reducing the rogue's damage by 1d6 did nothing. At 17th level, Death Strike. When you hit your sneak attack on the first round of combat, the target must succeed a con save, or the damage is doubled against that creature. Yeah. Yeah, you know that thing about rogues dealing a lot of damage and not giving a damn after 5th level? My point still stands. Swashbuckler has been redesigned to apply its effect through Cunning Strike. Dashing Strikes replace Elegant Maneuver at 13th level and gives you additional Cunning Strike options. Master Duelist has been redesigned to allow you to make an additional attack, provided you meet the requirements. So Fancy Footwork is the same. Brackish Audacity, still the same. The new 9th level ability has the Goad effect, which is the target must succeed a Wisdom save, or have disadvantage on attack rolls made against other things other than you. You can't make opportunity attacks against you or against other things other than you. And then you can awe. Creatures of your choice within 30 feet of you must make a Wisdom save, or be charmed until the end of your next turn. I mean, at least you're not dealing a shit ton of damage, right? Right? At 13th level, Dashing Strikes. You have a new way to use your sneak attack. Parrying Stance. Roll a d6 until the start of your next turn. You gain bonus to your AC equal to the number rolled. Invigorate. Choose a creature you see within 30 feet till the end of that creature's next turn. Whenever it makes an attack roll or saving throw, it can roll a d6 and add the number rolled to the attack roll or saving throw. See, now these effects, they're not bad. I can accept these because they have a cost. The cost doesn't get negated by anything. And it's actively can help other people. I know I'm not going to be able to, like, really say exactly why I feel this way, but I feel like for the first effects, for, like, knocking something prone, because here's the thing, rogues don't struggle to get sneak attack. They don't. It's so easy. It's nearly impossible not to get sneak attack. And I feel like for as powerful as these effects are, because, like, disarming a creature, that can get really hairy really quickly for that creature. And because here's the thing, you basically can the rogue can disarm someone, right? And then, the frontline fighter, if it's a barbarian or, fighter or whatever, they can literally just go down, grab their weapon before they have a chance to pick it up when their turn comes around, right? So they effectively just negated all the damage that character can deal. And so that's an issue. And then we have the assassin, which basically just that's the trickster. The assassin, which kind of just takes that whole, cost thing and just says, fuck it, it doesn't exist, really. Um, so yeah. It's, yeah. And of course, Master Duelist, I don't think it got any. Yes, it did. Master Duelist. Okay, so after you use your sneak attack, you can make another attack against the same target, provided you're within 5 feet and no other creatures are within 5 feet of you. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. Then the thief um, basically just allows you to do certain more things. Uh, you can now apparently have spider climb, and you use dex, not strength, for jumping. Then supreme sneak. We'll just read that and these reflexes. So if you have the hide action's invisible condition, this attack doesn't end the condition on you. And if you end the turn behind 3/4 cover or total cover, yeah, there's basically no cost to the rogue giving up a d6. There really isn't. Because it's just so the effects are just so strong for giving up only a single damage die. And I can't stress it enough. It's insane, honestly. And then of course you can use a magic device. You can attune up to 4 things at once. And of course you can just use spell scrolls because, why not? Why can't you? And then Thieves' Reflexes. I don't think they actually did anything that. No. Now this I just complained about Rogue to complain about Rogue for this because this has just been a thing. Thieves' Reflexes. Um, you're tapped at lying ambushes and you can quickly escape danger. You can take 2 turns during the first round of any combat. Yeah, I don't. Why? Why is this a thing? Why? Why are you going to be able to sneak attack twice? I don't understand. Anyways, so Xanathar found God. Um. Anyways, yeah, these are the things. So Frostbite is getting pulled from Tasha's. Mindsliver is getting pulled from, or Frostbite's getting pulled from Xanathar's. Mindsliver's getting pulled from Tasha's. Whatever. What we want to look at is the spells that actually got changed. Because this is a Divine Spell list. Wrathful Smite's now Necromancy. Weird. I mean, I guess, yeah, it makes sense. Prayer of Healing, and now, oh yeah, because they did make that little note in the beginning that most healing spells are now Abjuration instead of Evocation. So Cure Wounds, yep, it's Abjuration now. Which makes sense, I suppose. Banishment's now Conjuration. Makes sense. Which here are the Smites. Which they now have a bonus action which you can take immediately after hitting a creature with melee attack or a melee weapon with a melee attack, because it's unarmed strike or melee weapon. Which that's banishing. I want to see divine though. Where's divine? Divine smite. As a bonus action, which you take immediately after hitting a target with a melee weapon or unarmed strike. It's instantaneous. As you hit a target, your weapon glows with divine power, deals an extra 2d8 radiant damage. The attack increases. The target is a fiend or undead. Okay, so they kept that, and they kept the normal scaling. Okay, so it's basically just normal divine smite, except a spell, which is their fix for novaing paladins, which, I mean, is fine. And of course, Conjure Volley. And Conjure Barrage. Which... Did these two always deal this much damage? 5d8 force damage and 8d8 force damage is a lot. Weird. Hunter's Mark is now force damage. I thought it was just normal damage, or whatever the weapon you were using was. That's fun, I suppose. And you can now upcast it like Hex. That's definitely nice. Oh yeah, and then Shining Smite. What the fuck does Shining Smite do? Oh, it's the new creatures can't go invisible. Yeah, I'm not gonna go through all the spells or the feats, because the feats are feat, right? Oh, they made an ability score improvement a feat, or are they just saying like, hey, yeah, you can do this as a feat? Or no, that's just feat descriptions. Okay, I'm so confused. Oh no, yeah, no, because you can get a fighting style as a feat? What? No. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not gonna bother to look through it, and then of course the weapons worked, and the rest of everything. Arm strikes, true strikes, unconscious, yeah. Study action, visible, which I'm just gonna... This is what Rogue does. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, that was playtest 6. This was the biggest one, definitely, because it took me, what, 2 hours to get through this? Oh no, nearly 3. Holy wow. Um, Overall, in my opinion, I'll just speed through everything. Bard scares me because of they can choose from any spell list, but again, I don't know if this is going to be problematic in the future or not. Um, could be. Clerics, they just got a lot of quality of life improvements for the most part. Divine Intervention got changed into something more manageable. Um, of course, yeah. I mean, Destroy Undead's gone, which is sad, but overall, I think dealing damage is more um, useful overall, though. Um, the subclasses are always nice because they got a bunch more spells. So Cleric got a bunch of things. Druid, um, Druid's a lot more predictable now on what they're wild shaping into and stuff like that. The subclasses definitely got a huge glow up. Um, they definitely increased in power, as well as the Circle of the Sea is also just a really cool subclass. I definitely enjoy it. Monk didn't get everything it needed because it needed some other way to deal with low level discipline point problems because they don't get any real management until 7th level, but even then, at that point, they have 7 discipline points is actually quite a bit to play around with, so, you know, fun times. Um, they do get weapon mastery, which is cool though, so, you know, it's fun. Um, I do kind of like what they did with the Warrior of the Shadow and Warrior of the Elements subclasses. Um, Paladin, they didn't do a whole lot to change Paladin up again, but I do kind of like how they are incorporating the auras into a lot more of the Paladin's subclasses and stuff. It does feel a bit better. It's nice. It's sad to see Divine Smite go away. Oh, yeah, but overall it was whatever. It's fine because Divine Smite still exists in everyone's hearts. Um, the subclasses, some of them are kind of weird, but overall they're pretty nice. They're still pretty strong considering that for some reason Paladin subclasses are strong for some reason. I don't know why. I really don't. Ranger. Ranger got, some nice benefits and stuff. Um, would be nice to give them other things as well because, like, in my opinion, they should already get stuff like evasion or uncanny dodge or something like that in their base kit, but that's just me, honestly. But overall, the Gloomstalker got a pretty big glow up. Um, Hunter just got some decent buffs. Rogue, well, you heard my opinion on rogues. Honestly, I'm not a fan of it because they get advantage on every roll essentially, and it just feels so bad to play with one because it's, oh, I roll the die, I do it, yeah, instead of actually being like, oh, does this succeed? No, it probably does because they rolled. Because you know what, they're rogues. Why not? As well as I'm this whole new fucking system for sneak attack, no longer needing sneak attack to be in action. Which I mean, like using a bow or something like that, it's fine. I understand, but it's still like scary. As well as again, for how powerful some of these effects are, the cost is super outweighed by the benefit. And I mean, like, hell, the assassin literally says, "Oh yeah, there was a cost to one of them." Yeah, no, it just takes it away. Yeah. Um, rogues. Um, the spells, it's fine. Some of them are got changed. Alchemic spheres now in evocation. I mean, makes sense that makes sense, I suppose. Sending's now divination. I didn't know it wasn't divination before, but apparently it wasn't. Stone skin. Why wasn't that transmutation? Okay, it seems like they're changing things to be more in line, which makes sense. But yeah, anyways, um, yeah, that is playtest 6. It is a review and a couple of hot takes, as well as again to reiterate, I am kind of scared. with how they are doing the bard, because the bard now has a very decent melee class that's kind of monk in flavor. And then, of course, having multiple subclasses. Now, up to 3 subclasses that are melee oriented, which is definitely kind of like weird to say the least. And of course, like the druid and cleric, giving the option to be proficient in some armor and martial weapons, makes me scared that we're never going to see a true spell sword class in the game, or at least for 5th edition. Other than, of course, like the Hexblade, which is the only closest thing I would consider to a spell sword, or a gish, if you will, you older folk. Because let's be the Bladesinger Wizard doesn't count because you just have a high AC and a sword in the back line. You're still casting Fireball. Don't act like you're not. But yeah, that's all I have to say.